Hello and welcome to this brief micro lecture on identity. Before I begin, I just wanted to thank you all for doing such a great job in the discussion and the post forums. It's really nice to see you, one, supporting each other, really actively participating in there, and even starting to push each other a little bit. So it's really wonderful to see. Next week I might drop out a little bit to give me time to correct your the papers that you're going to be writing on memory, but it seems like you're doing a fine job by yourselves, so that shouldn't be a problem. I do want to do a quick micro lecture on identity because I didn't find a great resource for talking about this. And the main things that I want you to remember as we talk about identity are the actual processes that create it and the nature of it itself. One, identity is something that is constructed. It's not something that we're born with, but it's something that as we go through life, we start to build identity. And we're always building identity. It is dynamic. If you think about the things that could happen in a person's life, be it a change in your life in terms of a new job, the loss of a loved one, the addition of a loved one, these things actually change one's identity. So identity is something that's always in process and always being created. And three, it's relational. So we create our identities within the social and cultural context in which we live. That can be one's family, one's ethnicity, one's nationality, one's neighborhood, one's office. We're always working who we are against who we're amongst. And I did read this guy's thesis. I think I forget where he's from, but he had this good quote, and so I'll give you a little time to read it, or you can go back and read it. But his thesis isn't necessarily about what we're talking about, but he is looking at one syncretic religion down in South America, I believe, and he was looking specifically at the food culture of that religion, and then the ways that it shapes identity, and then harbiges back to the African roots of that community. So it was pretty good. But what I want to talk a little bit about today too is this idea of identifying against. And what that means is that I am who I am. And this is not me, this is just a person. And all of these things are important to the self, and these are the things that make me who I am. I'm an American, I'm a Cubs fan, I speak English, I'm Christian, all of these things. But I also create these things in relation to what I am not. So I am an American because I am not a Canadian. My identity as a Cubs fan is very much created when the Red Sox are in town, and I'm identifying against being a Red Sox fan. I'm an English speaker, and I do not speak Spanish. So these things help to actually create my identity. And if we think of that in the context of food, think about vegetarians. They do not eat meat. It's not so much that I do eat vegetables, it's that I do not eat meat. And then there's this concept of being Jewish and not eating pork. So these are almost negative assertions that you can have with food and identity. As we go through this week and you write your food memory paper, I'd just like you to be thinking about these things, because is this food memory something that helped to create your identity? And what is it was about food in this memory that helped to do that? Hopefully the stories from the PRI show Selected Shorts will help you kind of get a sense of narrative and food. They're not all identity stories. The first one definitely is, but the other ones are just interesting food stories, and hopefully you enjoyed them. All right, have a great week, and feel free to email me, and please do your course evaluations. I love those things. Sorry this micro lecture was a little bit long, but please give me any feedback either in person or on those evals that you need to. Thank you so much.